Good afternoon, everybody. It is Steve Lookner with Right Side Broadcasting coming to you with a news alert. The city of Baltimore has announced suddenly this afternoon that they are shutting down their entire MetroLink subway system, which includes the entire subway and the above ground rail system connected to it. They're shutting the entire system down for a month. 40,000 riders a day take this system during the week, and they are shutting the entire thing down for a month for repairs. And the really extra inconvenient thing about this is that this was not announced. People who live in Baltimore had no idea this was going to happen. Imagine if you took the subway to work every day in Baltimore, and now it's going to be shut for a month. So we wanted to come to you and report on this story that it just came out, in the last hours when I saw it. So on a Sunday, so people didn't know that tomorrow they're not going to be able to take the subway. Now the city of Baltimore is, paying for coach buses to run on that subway line, but my guess from all the cities I've lived in with subways, and I'm guessing a lot of you as well probably feel this, is that you're certainly not going to get the same travel time on city buses as you do with subways. Kind of the point of taking the subway is that it takes less time than when you drive. So they are offering free, I don't know if it's free buses, I have to check up on this. We're going to show you the article in a second, but this entire subway system in Baltimore and the connected above ground rail system. So it's like a 14 stop, I believe, system, and about half of it's underground, half of it's above ground. Entire system closing suddenly for repairs for a month. For a month. It's incredible to me. And the connected above ground rails. Sounds like you can hear me. Okay, now let me give you some details on this. This is from the Baltimore Sun, and quickly I want to say thank you to our JC and Barbara Braley, who are moderating the YouTube chat, and also to our website chat monitors, Common Sense and Gleno. So let's talk a little bit about this story here, give you some details here. Entire Baltimore metro system to close for a month for emergency repairs. Now, I'm going to get into this article in a second, but a quick point here. This is a sudden announcement. Now, I believe what happened is a couple days ago, they suddenly announced they were going to do some check for repairs, but it was never anticipated that the entire system was going to close down for a month. But let's look at the article. This is from the Baltimore Sun. As you can see, this just came out an hour and 18 minutes ago. Baltimore's entire Metro SubwayLink system will remain closed for a month, the Maryland Transit Administration announced Sunday, after safety inspections showed sections of track needed emergency repairs that couldn't wait until this summer. Now, I have to check. I'm not sure. It sounds from that paragraph like they were going to make some repairs this summer. I'm not sure how extensive those were going to be. And certainly if the repairs happened this summer, people were going to get a heads up. But people did not have a heads up about this. Governor Larry Hogan of Maryland has devoted $2.2 million in emergency funding to run free coach buses for passengers along the subway's route, in addition to normal MTA bus routes, the MTA said Sunday. So as we said before, let me just check something here real quick. Governor, okay, thank you. As we said before, there are going to be buses on the route. Now it says free coach buses, so I guess anybody will be able to take this bus for free for passengers along the subway's route. So this is going to be an expensive proposition, I would believe, for Baltimore and Maryland, because Maryland's going to have to spend $2.2 million on funding for the buses. But if the buses are free, I would think that the Maryland Transit Administration won't be able to collect the normal fares they would normally collect on the subway system, because people will be taking free buses instead of that system. And as we'll see a little later in the article, there's the cost of the repairs, and the cost of the repairs is still unknown. The MTA, okay, here's a little bit of the backstory here. The MTA shut down the system Friday, just 2 days ago, for a safety evaluation after discovering an urgent need for repairs on sections of the above-ground northwest leg of the system between Owings Mills and Cold Spring stations. Sunday's decision expanded the closure to the entire system. Let me get a map of the system here. That would help us. Baltimore MetroLink map. I'd like to get a station map here. Okay. Is this a map? No. Why is it giving me an LA map? Let's see here. Is this it? Okay, the Metro line, it looks like, is the red line, if this is correct. Because it says red is the Metro line. Yeah, so you have the Metro line is all the stops in red, and it goes from Owings Mills to Upton. And then when you get to Upton, see that little circle? The circle's blown up, and you can see the rest of the stops in there. Okay, so what this story said that we were just looking at is on Friday, again, about half of the system is above ground, half of it's below ground. On Friday, the MTA suddenly shut down the system, the entire system, I guess. I have to look that up. But they discovered an urgent need for repairs on Friday on sections of the above ground between Owings Mills and West Cold Spring. So that, okay, so what you can see here is that Owings Mills and West Cold Spring, that is about 5 stops of the above ground, of like the entire line. And those 5 stops on Friday, they discovered a need to do repairs between those 5 stops. And so they closed the system on Friday to look to examine the system. So I'm assuming on Friday people thought like, oh no, these 5 stops might have to close for a while without announcement. But then today, after doing this 2-day investigation of the tracks, they announced the whole Metro line, all 14 stops, I think there are 14 total, have to close because of needed repairs, even the ones underground. Yeah, so it says here, it says, on Sunday's decision expanded the closure to the entire system. MTA CEO Kevin Quinn said in a phone interview, while I understand the inconvenience, safety will always be our top priority. We don't take any risks with our riders. The track needed to be replaced sooner than the scheduled replacement this summer. So there was supposed to be some sort of scheduled replacement this summer. But a big deal about this is that people had no idea this was going to happen. This was just announced today. The free shuttle buses, or bus bridge as the MTA calls it, will begin at 5 a.m. Monday and run until midnight on weekdays and from 6 a.m. till midnight on weekends. Gives some other details about an express bus bridge. Quinn declined to specifically describe the problems on the deteriorating tracks, but said they were not rusted or cracked. He referred to them generally as having undergone normal wear and tear. It's not yet clear how much the repairs will cost. So it's a bit odd because he says they underwent normal wear and tear, and that's why the whole system is shutting down. You'd think, though, that if this was just normal wear and tear you anticipate and you schedule repairs beforehand. So it seems a bit odd to me that you're having an entire system in Baltimore shut down for a month with no advance notice because of normal wear and tear. It would seem like it would be not normal wear and tear if you have to shut it down suddenly for a month with no notice. That's just me. Maybe something's wrong here with that explanation. Let's see. The CEO of the MTA there said the part that's above ground on the elevated. The part that's above ground on the elevated sections, it's exposed completely to the elements, and it has been for 36 years. Quinn said there's 36 years of wear and tear on it. Okay, that's a little confusing, though, because they're shutting down not just the above-ground part, but the underground part, too. Now, that hasn't been exposed to the elements as much. That's a little confusing. The single line, 15.5 miles. So this is a long route. It's 15.5 miles. This isn't like a few blocks. 15.5 miles. The single line, 15.5 mile heavy rail system has 14 stations and a ridership of more than 40,000 people on a typical weekday. The above ground section runs from Owings Mills to Mondawmin, then grows underground between Mondawmin and Johns Hopkins Hospital. Let me see if there's like a Google map with the Metro link on it here. What is it? Owings Mills? All right, here's Owings Mills in Google Maps, and if I zoom out here, I see, okay, so there's Baltimore, and there's Owings Mills. So this line goes from Baltimore to Owings Mills. It's a 15.5 mile line. Also, because it's 15 and a half miles long, they say there's going to be free buses that go on this line. I have to imagine, my guess is that the buses would take significantly longer, because if you're a bus, the bus will, if you go from one end of the line to another, you're going 15 and a half miles on a bus rather than on a train, especially during rush hours. So that might be a big difference in travel time. I'm not sure. I don't live in Baltimore and I'm not familiar with that, but this is where this is happening. Okay, let's get back to this article and just finish off this article. So the CEO of the MTA there in Maryland said, "We spent Friday and Saturday doing a thorough inspection of the tunnel section because we wanted to do a check of the entire system," Quinn said. "There were additional sections that have some wear and tear on them as well. We're going to be replacing them." Quinn told The Sun on Friday there are no signs that past neglect caused the current problems. So again, I'm kind of confused because they say it's normal wear and tear. They say this wasn't caused by past neglect. Well, if that's the case, then why is the system being suddenly shut down with no notice for a month? You would think if there's no wear and tear and this wasn't caused by neglect, that they would just know exactly when to replace it and when to schedule the repairs, and you wouldn't have to, with no notice, shut down the entire system for a month. Again, let me say this again. This was just announced an hour ago. This is it was announced around 4 p.m. Eastern time on a Sunday afternoon. Tomorrow, people have to go to work in Baltimore. A lot of people take this line. 40,000 is the ridership on an average day. It's a 15 and a half mile line. They're telling people in Baltimore now that the subway a lot of them take to work is shut down for a month with no notice of this. So pretty crazy. Let's see here. The system closed. Now the entire system, it looks like, closed for 23 days between Milford Mill and Mondawmin stations. Let me see where that is. How many stations that is. I lost that link here. If I go back, I should find it. Beep, 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 beep. There it is. So, Milford Mill and Mondawmin, that's 4 stations. Some of which were in the initial problem area on Friday, too. So, the system closed for 23 days in the summer of 2016 between Milford Mill and Mondawmin stations for critical maintenance work. During that time, many riders complained about being relegated to yellow school buses. That's one complaint the MTA doesn't expect to happen this time around. The agency has used the emergency funds allocated by the governor to contract coach buses from Hanover-based Dillon's Bus Service and National Express coaches. They'll still find it's a nice ride downtown, Quinn said. Well, I have no idea if they will. We'll see. A partial reopening could come earlier than a month from now, March 11th, as sections of track are repaired, the MTA said. Mayor Catherine Pugh thanked the governor for funding the buses in a statement in the MTA release. And she said it's important that we do everything possible to mitigate the inconvenience of a prolonged disruption of the Metro SubwayLink service. So again, the entire Baltimore metro system is closing suddenly for a month. 15 and a half mile long system, 40,000 riders every day during the week. Closing for a month, unanticipated, for emergency repairs. So I'm sort of interested in seeing what the comments are about this, what Baltimore residents are seeing. I'm going to try to find those in a second. First, I'd love to hear from you. Do you have any thoughts on this? Maybe some of you live in the area and take this train. Give me a shout on Twitter, @Lookner, @LOOKNER. Also, if you like that we're covering this, I'm guessing mainstream media won't cover this story much. Feel free to consider donating to Right Side Broadcasting because we are viewer-supported. Your donations keep us on the air. If you want to donate, go to the bottom of the YouTube chat. Click on the $sign at the bottom of the YouTube chat or go to rsbn.tv/donate, rsbn.tv/donate. Thanks again to our moderators in the YouTube chat. We got Jan and JC and Jan, JC, Barbara Braley right now, and Common Sense and Glen O on the website. All right, so I'm going to check and see if anybody's written to me about this yet, and I'm going to see if we can find what some Baltimore folks have to say about this. David Caldwell says, could they have mind using the subway Could they have in mind using the subway as an emergency underground bunker? Do they anticipate an attack? David, I have no evidence of that. It just seems like there's some sort of maintenance work to be done. I'm a bit confused if it's normal maintenance work, why there was no notice given of this. That seems a little odd. But I'm not seeing any reporting that there's anything besides just problems with the tracks or a problem with the system that's causing this to be shut down. Garrett writes in, there must have been a regular safety check at the subway before. I wonder what the previous results were and did they lie about it? So this is a good question, Garrett. You know, I would think they regularly check the subway for maintenance. So it seems very confusing. Something must have gone wrong for the subway system to suddenly shut down for a month at 4 p.m. on a Sunday. It just, something has to have gone wrong. Either a maintenance check was done wrong, or they weren't scheduling maintenance in the proper way, but something must have gone wrong. Matt Camper says, this is unheard of to shut down the entire subway system in Maryland. If this happened in NYC, it would cause the economy to crash or a halt to the entire NYC region. Now I'll say this, you make a point, Matt, which is a good point, which is economics. Will this cost the city, in addition to a cost of repairs, is this going to have economic costs for the city? Are there people who won't take the subway to, say, go shop or do certain business things who would have normally taken it, who won't take the subway and also just won't bother taking the buses because they'll be like, I want to deal with it? I know if I was in a major city and the subway shut down, and I didn't have to take the buses, I'd be really iffy on doing it because, again, the cities, I don't know about Baltimore. I know nothing about Baltimore. I've never been to Baltimore. But the cities I've lived in, if the subway shut down and it switched to buses, it would take way longer for the buses to get to the same place than the subway cars do. Let's see here. David Opp says, do you think the recent Amtrak derailments have pushed this to happen sooner? No idea, David. No idea if the derailments prompted them to do a check. I don't when I first hear that, I don't think to myself that the hearing about Amtrak derailments is going to necessarily make Baltimore inspect their subway any sooner. But who knows? Who knows? I don't know the ins and outs of all of this. Let's see. Tripwire writes in, do you think maybe they can use all the money from people doing stupid stuff when they are inconvenienced? I'm a little confused about the question, Tripwire. Who do I think? You think Baltimore? Who are the people doing stupid stuff when they're inconvenienced? So let me know if you want to, Tripwire. Also, I got to say, from what I've heard, Baltimore isn't like the wealthiest city. Don't they have financial issues there? Let me look. Let me Google something. So here's an article from February in Baltimore CBS Local, if the page actually loads, and it says, Baltimore City Public Schools, let me just get off the autoplay video here. Baltimore City Public Schools face largest budget crisis ever. So that's from a year ago. As of a year ago, they were having a budget crisis in the Baltimore City Public Schools. So it seems non-ideal to be shutting down the subway for a month. Now, I'll say this. The subway money might go to the state because I think the subway is run by the state transportation authority. I don't know if Baltimore gets a percentage of that or whatever, but I have to imagine it's not great for the Baltimore economy to have their subway shut down. Also, I don't know. Maybe Baltimore gets some of the money from the subway that's operated by the state transit authority. I don't know, but anyways. Not ideal to be spending all this money. And not ideal, I think, for the Baltimore economy for this to be happening, of course. All right, I would like to see if any Baltimore people are posting online about this. Oh, we have a couple more comments here. Super Sorcerer writes, so shutting down the Baltimore subway for 1 month with no notice? So are you picking us up tomorrow? Kermit Peck writes, if the Baltimore subway system needs emergency repairs, it shouldn't be shut down for a month. I'd estimate a week at most. Personally, it's about time they replaced and literally expanded the subway system in not only Baltimore, but every subway in the nation. Kermit, you make an interesting point. You're saying, like, why is it taking so long to do this for a month? Like, now, I don't know, is it a staffing thing where they don't have enough staff to do it, say, in a week or 2 weeks? Or is it more that the nature of the repairs take a month? I don't know, but it is a long time. Now, let me say this, however, though. Let's imagine there's a lot of the track needs to be replaced. I don't know. This is a 15.5-mile long system. So it's a subway system, but it's subway and above ground rail, and it's 15.5 miles. So that's a lot of, if there's problems, say, with the track or problems with the power system, if there's any kind of problem that's occurring regularly throughout the line, that's a lot of track, 15.5 miles. So that makes some sense why it would take a while. Let me see. I really am interested in seeing what Baltimore people are saying about this. So what I want to do is see if I can find. I know what I'll do. What I need to do is find like a story on Twitter about this from one of the local outlets and then go to the comments section. That would be the best thing. Okay, I wonder if the local TV is reporting on it. Okay, here's WBAL Baltimore News. WBAL Baltimore News, have they not posted about this yet? Hey, WBAL Baltimore News is not on the ball. Maybe, hey, WBAL TV, you want to post about your subway system shutting down? No? Don't want to post on it? Oh, they did, okay. Oh, now they had it before the Baltimore Sun had it. Wow. But nobody made comments. They had, okay, here it is. This is the MTA Maryland Post. All right, so this was announced 3 hours ago. So I saw it in Baltimore Sun about an hour ago. I guess the earliest it was announced officially was, let me correct myself, I said 4 p.m. It looks like the MTA made the announcement at 2:44 p.m. 2:44 Eastern was when this was announced on a Sunday afternoon. So I wasn't that far off. So 2:44 p.m., that's when the MTA Maryland first announced this. Are You Handy made a donation. Thank you, Are You Handy. We appreciate it. Those donations are what allow us to be on the air. So thank you, Are You Handy. So MTA said, this is their tweet, the entire Metro SubwayLink system will remain closed for up to 4 weeks for emergency repairs, blah, 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 blah. We talked about that. Let's look at the comments. I wonder what people said in the comments here. Glad they will have, Steve Howard says, glad they will have extra buses, shows the importance of routine maintenance of our infrastructure. Let's all find ways to help our transit-reliant neighbors. Great news about the bus bridges. This person, Blackberry Juice, is like, what? Kemble Warren writes, interesting, I have never seen an entire public transportation system closed for that long in a U.S. city. Richard Bruce Dunn replied to this, a damn disgrace. I don't know if he lives in Maryland, but perhaps he does. Let's see. Doesn't say. See if I can find any other comments on this. I would have to think that people in Maryland or Baltimore are just incredibly upset about this. I mean, imagine if you took the subway to work every day or this light rail system to work every day, and then you find out at 2:44 p.m. on a Sunday it's going to be closed for a month. And you probably found out after 2:44 p.m. because that's when they tweeted it out, but by the time the news outlets broadcast it, it's a little later. As I said, the Baltimore Sun posted it at 4 p.m. This is another article here. Stephen Rapetsky had posted this article from, he's at Grasswire. So Grasswire posted an article about it. And then Sandy Johnston replied, you'll see here, ARG. I wonder if a lot of people in Baltimore haven't even heard about this yet. I I mean, this news has only been out for a couple hours. Just amazing. This is somebody who's a Sandy Johnston, who is a Boston region planner. And they write, this person writes, so under Larry Hogan's leadership in a blue state, the government of Maryland has screwed Baltimore by canceling the Red Line permanently and allowing a Baltimore subway to fall into such disrepair that it needs to be closed for a month. And here's an interesting thing. So on Friday they shut down the system because just for like a couple of days because they thought there was an urgent need to like examine the system for repairs. That was on Thursday night. They shut it down, but only for a couple of days, or at least temporarily. And today they announced it was for a month. But here's that shutdown was on Friday, and one person responded to the CBS Baltimore article. This was one of the comments there from Opu Morrison, said, very disorganized shutdown, no shuttle buses in place. That was Friday. So many call outs from work because so many people rely on the train. Next time, give enough notice, not this overnight BS. Now, I have to imagine, so this person is just talking about what happened on Friday, but today they announced it's closing suddenly for a month. So I'm guessing there will be a lot of people inconvenienced. Maybe there will be some people who can't get to their job, or I don't know, well, they can get to there are buses running, there are free buses running, so I guess they can technically get there. But I have to imagine people are probably going to have to leave like a lot earlier for work and stuff. Especially tomorrow. If it's tomorrow, if you have a job and you're taking that bus tomorrow, you don't know how bad it's going to be on that bus. So you're going to like want to leave like, I'd like leave like hours earlier just to make sure I got to my job on time. Let's see here. Super Sorcerer writes in, why am I seeing this story on my favorite alternative news on YouTube and not you, WBAL TV? Quinn is a liar. I wonder if Super Sorcerer lives in Baltimore. I'm getting that sense. American Patriot writes in, this stinks to high heaven. Only a few stations were to be checked. That's right. Originally, they were going to check a few stations on Friday, and yet they closed the whole system. What a nightmare having to use buses to transport tens of thousands of people. Could it be that this is somehow terror-related? I've heard nothing suggesting this is terror-related. Sounds like it's just a maintenance issue of some sort. Matt Camper sent me a tweet he found. And again, when we read these tweets from like normal people, I don't know where they're coming from. So I don't. Who is this person? I'll try to tell you who they are. This person that Matt Camper just sent me this tweet from is Daniel Loshakov, who is a leading KPMG global infrastructure rail practice and supporting. So it looks like he's somebody who is a specialist in kind of global rail of some sort. He works for KPMG. Anyways, he says, Baltimore MTA, if emergency repairs are required because of wear and tear, there is something terribly wrong with the asset management, and very likely one has been taking risks with the riders. That's something we were just saying here. I was saying this before. How can emergency sudden repairs be required for normal wear and tear? It sounds like we're not getting the full story. By the way, what is this? KPMG, a consulting company? KPMG provides audit, tax, and advisory services. Okay. Kermit Pack writes in, if the Baltimore subway system needs emergency... Oh, no, we already read that one. We already read your comment, Kermit. Super Sorcerer says, what kind of notice is this? What about all the money that you take in tolls and do nothing? And I find out from my favorite news on Right Side Broadcasting that tomorrow I cannot use the train. Quinn is lying. Oh, I wonder if MTA Maryland has like had angry people tweeting them and is sending out replies. Let me see. Sometimes that happens. I'm going to their tweets and replies section. No, nope, they don't. Maybe people are tweeting them. They're just not publicly replying. This was unanticipated. So just amazing. Originally, they had suddenly shut down the system on Friday because they thought there were some issues with a few of the stops. Let me read that paragraph again from the article. The MTA shut down the system Friday for a safety evaluation after discovering an urgent need for repairs on sections of the above-ground northwest leg of the system between Owings Mills and West Cold Spring stations. That's only just 5 of the 14 stops. Sunday's decision suddenly expanded the closure to all the stations and for a month. Wow, just incredible. All right, we're going to stay on a few minutes longer here. If you have comments on this, give me a shout on Twitter, @Lookner, @LOOKNER. Liz Bellin says, can't they replace it with other trains until it's finished? So, Liz, they're not repairing the trains. They're repairing, like, something with the track or something with the infrastructure there. It's not the train cars that are being repaired. It's the actual train line that's being repaired. Let me try one more thing here. I was trying to see the comments on the Baltimore Sun article, and it wasn't showing the comments, but maybe if I turn off the ad blocker on this one page, I can see the comments. View comments. Look, on the Baltimore Sun page. And it's Chrome, it's not Firefox. Why isn't this working? Hide. See, there's no comments there. There should be. Hang on, let me try Firefox. It'll be crazy if it works on Firefox and not Chrome. But we can try. View comments. Here we go. Wow, I've never had something like this work on Firefox and not Chrome. So here are the comments on the Baltimore Sun article. Oops, I don't want to do that. Get away. I'm not interested. Here's the Baltimore Sun article, and the comments at the bottom say, this is nothing. It's not like they're charging writers $50,000. I don't get the reference there. Mayor Pugh should be eternally grateful to Governor Hogan for the $2.2 million. She is fortunate to have benefactors who respond to her pleas. However, their generosity has limits. Deplorable Dan says, but it will be perfect once it's done, won't it? Balco Independent Thinker says, inconveniencing all 26 riders. Actually, there are 40,000 riders a day on this line. Let me do one more quick check of Twitter and see people are posting there. Amy Yensi of WJZ in Baltimore, she calls it a commuter nightmare. Commuter nightmare continues. Hey, look at this. Look Martin DeCaro posted this. Per Metro Reasons, Baltimore subway carries 37,000 people per day and is the U.S. 11th largest. But guess what? It's shutting down for a month, unexpectedly. Adam Tuss here's an interesting, so Adam Tuss, who, what does he do? He's a transportation reporter with NBC Washington. He just said, just wow about this story, just wow. And then somebody named Richard Riho, who's this? He's a lawyer. Does he live in Baltimore? He lives in D.C. This D.C. lawyer wrote, holy cow, that is going to be a real headache for so many. Of course, I didn't know Baltimore had a subway system. He lives in D.C. Some other angry people posting on Twitter. This is Michael McChisel. This is McChisel, who has he has a lot of followers. He's 72,000 followers. But anyways, he posted, maybe if Baltimore didn't allow bogus overtime to be paid to the cops instead of maintaining the subway train system, 40,000 daily commuters would not be adversely affected by the whole Baltimore shutdown. Now, I don't, I can't. I'm just reading you comments people are posting on Twitter, so I have no idea about. I don't live in Baltimore. I'm giving you a sampling of different things I'm seeing on social media about this. I am not endorsing or refusing to endorse, or endorsing or contradicting any of these reports. I'm just giving you a feel for what people are posting on social media about this story, because I think it's interesting to get social media reaction. Melissa G posted, Baltimore shutting down subway system for a month beginning Monday. What the heck? Just crazy. Does this article have anything different? This is from Grasswire. They're going to close the system for up to 4 weeks. We know that already. We know this already. We know this already. We heard all that. It's the 11th largest rapid transportation system in the U.S. They first announced on Thursday that the system would be closed just until Sunday. Suddenly, they announced this on Thursday. Inspectors evaluating the tracks in advance of the work of the system that was planned to be done over the summer discovered that some sections of track needed replacement sooner than expected. Then the agency extended the closure of several stations on the northwest side of the system on Friday before. Okay, so it looks like, I want to get clear on what they shut down on Thursday and Friday. Was it the whole system or just part of it? Yeah, so on Friday, they shut down the whole system this weekend on Friday with no announcement. But look, on Friday, if you looked on Friday, you were probably, and you lived in Baltimore, you were probably like, that stinks. But it just said Friday to Sunday. That's all it said. Just said Friday to Sunday. And then today they announced, oh, it's going to be a whole month. Oh, and then this, it's just crazy. So when somebody responded to the Friday post, David Hart said, be nice if they would tell us workers. I don't know if he works for the system or just is saying Baltimore workers. Christine Bestjen said, Steve, who gets bus contract? Follow the money. Good question. We told you the names of the bus contract, the bus lines that are getting this contract. I can't tell you if they're connected somehow, Christine, to anyone, but a decent question to be asking. Who's going to get the? How did the? Maybe they just gave that what they thought the two best bus companies were the contract, or maybe there was something else going on. But they're paying the state's paying $2.2 million to have shuttle buses run during that month. This person, I believe, lives in Baltimore. He mentions Baltimore in his profile. Bad Hombre Moscos, and he says, oh, Baltimore and the Maryland MTA, really? Closing the whole subway for 4 weeks? And then the new normal said, the same day I moved to a county apartment at the Metro stop. Doomsday Gorilla isn't happy. So I just found out that the Baltimore subway is shut down for a whole effing month. All those little repairs they've been doing has been for effing nothing. All the increases in fares they've been doing for us has been for effing nothing. Had it bad enough that the bus system is garbage, I should not have to take 2 effing buses to get to City Hall. This link S has been BS from the start. And there's not a single place I can park for free downtown, even as a city employee. So this person, Doomsday Gorilla, is very unhappy. And somebody named Sir Marius posted, Baltimore subway stations are closed for up to 4 weeks. Sheesh. Kermit Peck writes in, one must question where the fare money is going to. Maybe someone needs to audit the Baltimore SubwayLink and see where the money is going. David Opp says, in D.C., they single track for repairs on the other side. Maybe there's some reason they can't do this, David, in Baltimore. Maybe they just think the whole track needs to be repaired. All right, I think we're going to wrap up this stream in a few minutes. I just want to say, first of all, thank you again to our moderators who've been moderating the chat, Jan, Barbara Braley, and JC in the YouTube chat room, Common Sense and Gleno on the website. If you want to know when we're coming on the air with these breaking news videos, we do them all the time. Follow us at YouTube. Subscribe to us at YouTube and click the notifications bell so you know when we're coming on the air. Also, for breaking news, you can follow me at Lookner on Twitter, at Lookner. If I hear anything more about this story, I will post it, or any other breaking news. You can follow us on Facebook at Right Side Broadcasting and on Twitter at RSB Network. Big thanks again to the people who donated before. Are You Handy and Christine Bestjen. We are viewer supported. That's how we stay on the air. We can't stay on the air without your donations. So we appreciate your donations very much. You can donate by going to the bottom of the YouTube chat. Click on the $ sign there at the bottom of the YouTube chat. Even small donations really help us out. Or you can go to rsbn.tv/donate, rsbn.tv/donate. You can even get free stuff like this Right Side mug if you set up a monthly donation at rsbn.tv/donate. Through our Patreon page. Let me check out the Facebook chat real quick, which I never get a chance to check out, and just see if what's going on there. Let's see what's happening there. In the Facebook chat, Stephanie Norton says, yikes. Lori Borges says, never given any prior notice of shutdown. Yes, they didn't know this was going to happen until today. Lori Borges in the chat room says, it's going to be more than a month. Brace yourself. Marty Webster Lanier says, people, you need to get rid of Democrats running your cities and state. Daniel Knight says, this isn't going to end good. Thank you, Mike said, great job. Thank you, Mike Davis. Robert Wood says, if China can do it with, I think, was 15,000 workers at the same time, and they did it in hours. I saw some video recently online of supposedly in China it was them repairing a whole train station in a quick amount of time with just a ton of workers. But I'm not sure. I don't know the technical, things that are going on with this system and how fast it could be fixed and all of that stuff. And then in the YouTube chat, Ann says, yeah, I told you month turned 6 months. Kajel says, getting to work this week's going to be a bitch. Kenneth Vaughn says it shut down on just plain corruption. A Teachable Woman says there's only a single track. Doesn't the train run in both directions? See, a Teachable Woman, I would think they would need multiple tracks for that. I'm looking this up, but I would have to think that there's more than one track. Am I wrong? There can't be. The subway has a single line. Maybe somebody in the chat room can answer me on this. Yeah. A Teachable Woman, yes, a single line, but it goes each way. Okay, good. A teachable woman says, "Show us the map!" And she capitalized map, and she put an exclamation point behind it. Teachable woman, I had the map up earlier in the broadcast. I mean, I'm sorry, but you know, I'll put it up again. But hey, you know. Hang on a second. So on this map, it's the green one. It goes from Owings Mills in the northwest to Johns Hopkins Hospital in Baltimore. So the green line is the Metro subway line, which is the one they're shutting down. I had a better map before. Before we're done, I'll show you the map again. There it is. So Owings Mills is at the top left, and then it goes to Johns Hopkins Hospital. That is the Metro subway there in Baltimore. 15.5-mile line. 15.5 miles. Okay, we're going to wrap this up here. I want to thank people for saying thank you in the chat room. So, thank you for saying thank you. Light Switch, Dennis Casey, Anne, Davy Boy. Davy Boy likes my shirt and tie. Thank you. Rooster, Jerry, the American, our moderators, Jan, JC, and Barbara Braley. Kenneth Vaughn, Dennis Casey, Neon Butterfly, Summer Sunrise. YouTube 13. And everybody else there in the chat room on YouTube and on Facebook as well. Appreciate you all watching our coverage. Saley Hodges, thanks for saying thanks. And everybody else there in the Facebook chat. All right, that's going to wrap it up for now. If there's breaking news later today, we will certainly come on the air and cover it. But for now, I am Steve Lookner. You can follow me again on Twitter at Lookner, at Lookner. I'll post about breaking news later today, too. But for now, I am Steve Lookner. This is Right Side Broadcasting. Thanks so much for watching us for this News Alert coverage, and we will see you soon for more news here at RSBN.
make a layup.